So what we're trying to do here at Astro Mechanica, big picture and long term, is bring back supersonic commercial travel. Revolutionize the way we fly through the air.
The biggest challenge we have at Astro Mechanica in test engineering is that we're using many different systems that haven't been used together before. So before Revel, our test setup was a little bit ad hoc.
The people who actually knew how to run and modify it were pretty limited. There was maybe 2 or 3 of us that were actually able to, I'd say, do it kind of the whole thing by ourselves. A lot of times we didn't have a ton of insight into exactly what was happening in the middle of the test. We'd have to look at it afterwards. So you'd have to stop, shut everything down, go look at data. That could take some time.
But getting started with Revel was extremely fast. And we have been able to very seamlessly port different protocols into Revel, so we can always get live telemetry from all of our various different devices.
It was actually pretty easy to fit Revel into the existing setup. One of the nice things about it was we didn't have to go strip out a bunch of hardware. We were able to drop it in on the test computer effectively and get off and running.
2 Revel engineers showed up and they got it up and going in a day. No issues with compatibility, it just worked out of the box.
I think it clicked pretty early on for the team on Revel being different. Just kind of the experience from a UI standpoint was night and day.
The fact that we could use state machines, auto sequences, it had configurable UIs, adding, removing, changing channels was extremely easy, seamless, and quick. All those features really made just control software a lot easier.
I think what changed day to day once Revel was in place was just the rate at which we were able to implement or modify tests and just run the next thing we wanted to run. The scripting language is pretty easy to work with and you don't need a huge programming background, so it gave a wider portion of the team the ability to implement tests and run things. I think it's really important for the test operators to be able to modify the tests themselves. If you're the test operator, you own the overall test setup. So having a system like Revel where they can own the full thing from the hardware all the way through the software is really valuable to us.
Getting ready for a hot fire with Revel now is pretty easy. We have a checkout sequence that brings us into a state machine logic where it makes sure all of our pumps, batteries, all of the systems are within a ready state. And then single drop-down menu to run test, and it just executes it, which is very nice.
I think what we're excited about for next milestones is we're ramping our engine up to full thrust. And so that's just a lot more energy, a lot more interesting things to look at in the data. Really big picture, what we're trying to do here is design, build, and test as quickly as possible, because that's how you're going to learn things, iterate, and get to a better product. So improving any part of that is a huge enabler for us. And I'm excited to be able to use Revel. It allows us to run 5 times the number of tests in a day than we would have otherwise. And that's really impactful to the overall company goals.